Who is the second best quarterback in the NFL right now? Now, first, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're probably gasping. I just got out of the gym, pumped up out of my mind, getting a quick video in. Look at it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we got that out of the way. Let's focus on the video. Let's focus on the second best quarterback in the NFL right now. So when I saw this video pop up, I was thinking, what's even the conversation, right? So Patrick Mahomes is one, drop off, and Joe Burrow's two. So then I started thinking, well, who the hell is three? Now, interesting conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you right now, a lot of people are going to tell you it's Josh Allen. I don't think it's Josh Allen. I think it's Lamar Jackson. Now, that's a hot take. That's controversial yet brave. That's water cooler talk. You tell your friends that, they might look at you like, what do you mean? Listen to me now. What has Josh Allen done that makes me think he's better than Lamar Jackson? Answer amongst yourself or answer in the comments. Lamar has been the MVP. Lamar has taken his team to the playoffs. Lamar has taken his team to the 1 seed. Lamar has proven he can do it. Statistically, pretty damn good. Statistically, right there with Josh Allen. Josh Allen hasn't been the MVP. Josh Allen doesn't have tremendous postseason success. He has some. Lamar has some. Right? They've both kind of done the same thing, but Lamar's been the MVP. Has Josh Allen been the best player in the MVP in the NFL yet? I don't think he has. So let's say Lamar's 3. I'll give you Josh Allen's 4. Who's 5? 5, I think then you start talking about, like, how good do you think Aaron Rodgers is? Is Aaron Rodgers, are you giving him his whole career? Because last year he wasn't very good. I think on average, like, if you take last year and kind of blend it into the rest of his career, I think Rodgers could be in that conversation for 5. But if it was Justin Herbert at 5, I'd be okay with that too. And then where do you put Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts is the opposite of Aaron Rodgers. Jalen Hurts last year probably at an MVP level, but he's only done it for a small period of time. So do you assume that Jalen Hurts is going to do this for the remainder of his career? Or do you say, well, maybe he had 1.5 good years, but we'll see. You know, you got to show more than a year and a half to be put in the top 5. It's an interesting conversation because the NFL is absolutely dense with quarterbacks, especially the AFC. You could go probably 10-ish deep of high-level, legitimate quarterbacks. Like Russell Wilson, it might be hard to put him in the top 10. But at times, he certainly can be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Right? Like Dak Prescott. People want to put him up there. I don't think he is. Kirk Cousins, players like that. I mean, there's good quarterbacks in a lot of spots. Derek Carr. You know, so that, I mean, even Deshaun Watson, where do you put him? But to answer this question, I think it's for sure Joe Burrow. So let's see what this young man has to say.
Right now, currently, the best quarterback in the NFL is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, it's not even close.
He's been to, he's won 2 Super Bowls, been to 3, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, the league's MVP this past season. He's won that twice, by the way. The Chiefs are, it's hard not to say they're a dynasty when they are. As long as Patrick Mahomes is there, he is the dynasty. But that,
I mean, Mahomes really, last year, like, Mahomes took that step to where he's on a different planet. Like, losing Tyreek Hill and then having maybe his best year of his career, winning a Super Bowl and winning an MVP is crazy. I mean, that's Tom Brady level stuff where Tom Brady could just do it with anybody. And that's how Mahomes is. Mahomes is, you know, he's something else. I mean, he is. It's easy to see that we're watching one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. That's no stretch to say, buckle up, you know, enjoy the ride, because we're watching a career like Tom Brady. At a certain level with Brady, you had to just kind of sit back and say, we're watching history. Every game Mahomes plays, we're watching history. So all we can do is enjoy it. Burrow, I think, is the reason I have him above like Lamar and players like that, why I say that he's kind of that next level, is how quickly he completely changed Cincinnati. Cincinnati was a laughingstock. Cincinnati was a joke. And then he showed up. And not only are they not a laughingstock, they are a consistent Super Bowl threat. They are a consistent AFC threat. Been to a Super Bowl, you know, like I think what Burrow has done for Cincy already is way more and way better than what Allen has done for Buffalo.
That being said, we know he's the best quarterback in the league. But who's number 2? That is a discussion that I wanted to have with you guys as we get out of here.
I hope he says someone else
best
besides Burrow, because I'm interested.
Joe Burrow.
Yes, it is.
If you asked me last year, people would have said what? Josh Allen. Josh Allen.
See?
Because of, or previous or 2 years ago. Was that 2 years ago or last year?
Last year,
Because
they would have said Allen.
We saw Joe Burrow on the rise. I think last year was another validation year for him that pushed him up higher. Josh Allen is in that conversation. Where does Lamar Jackson fit in that conversation?
Okay, we're on the right track here.
Just signed the richest contract in NFL history, average per year. Where's he at in that conversation? Are we going to base this on resume? Are we going to base this on ability?
Good question. Great question, because then that brings up Aaron Rodgers. So I mean, he is right on track. The Allen thing is interesting because, like you just said, last year going into the season, Allen was the heavy favorite to win the MVP. The Bills were the heavy favorite to win the Super Bowl. They didn't either. They if anything, they underperformed. So, like, he's talking about Joe Burrow last year was kind of a coming of age year. I disagree. The year before that, he goes to the Super Bowl. That's his coming of age year. Like, that's when he arrives. So that's why I'm saying that Burrow has already accomplished more, and Burrow's already reached a level that Allen hasn't even gotten to. Can Allen do it? Of course. Josh Allen's super talented, but he's going to have to figure it out. If the Bills stumble again this year and they don't get to a Super Bowl, they don't, have a prolonged success, if he isn't an MVP level player, then he's just going to continually fall in the quarterback rankings.
Are we going to base this on wins and losses? Like, I'm trying to figure out how will we base.
I think you blend it with talent and wins and losses
in the NFL, and you still have some other guys. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers comes out and does something crazy with the Jets this year, are we not saying that he's still one of the greatest quarterbacks in the National Football League?
Rodgers has that Brady syndrome where, like, when Brady was in the NFL, you always could say, well, he's the best quarterback in the NFL, even at his age. I think the second to last year he played, I think he led the NFL in passing yards and passing touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers, let's just say he wins the MVP this year. Wouldn't that be, I had to go back and check my notes, but wouldn't that be like 4 of the last 5 years he's the MVP or something like that? Or at least 3 of the last 5. And if that's the case, then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, maybe he's the best. Or maybe he's the second best. I don't know. I mean, he can flip it. People like him, when Brady played, they're so talented and they're so good. Until they're not playing, they have the ability and the pedigree to be the best quarterback, not named Patrick Mahomes.
He could be the best quarterback, or at least number 2, before the season is out. I'm torn right now because I could throw a lot. I even talked to you guys about it. If Trevor Lawrence comes out and has an unbelievable year, similar to what we've seen with Joe Burrow, or Joe Burrow is only going into year 4. Trevor Lawrence is going into year 3. He's on that same trajectory.
If Lawrence took a huge step forward and the Jaguars made the Super Bowl or were right there in the AFC Championship game, and Lawrence was like an MVP, if Lawrence wins the MVP and they go to the AFC title game or the Super Bowl, I think you can make the case that he's in the top 3. But I'd still be hesitant to move him above Joe Burrow. I guess I might have to if he did that, because then he would have an MVP. He would, if he reaches the Super Bowl, then you could say like him and Burrow have kind of done the same thing, but he would have the MVP. So he would have to have a year like that to launch himself in that conversation. I don't have him in the top 5 yet. He's probably like 6 or 7 in my ranking list, but he could certainly skyrocket up there.
Who's the second best quarterback in the National Football League, fellas?
Oh man, it's such a great question.
And I haven't even said Jalen Hurts' name yet.
It's such a great question. Is Hurts is in that top 5, right?
You know what I mean? Like
He's
in
top
conversation.
The
now.
top 5 of number 2 candidates.
Yes, top 5 of number 2 candidates.
I think for me, does Tom Brady count? Can I put him on the list, or is he officially retired?
I think
he's retired. He's done.
Yeah, I think he's done. I think
Hurts could have been the MVP last year, and they could have won the Super Bowl. So let's say he has a similar year. You do that back-to-back years, all of a sudden you are in that conversation of, is this guy the second best quarterback in the NFL?
he's switching up. He's got some other stuff going on.
I think just because he's done it a year or two longer than Joe Burrow, I'm going to have Josh Allen number 2, and I'm going to have Joe Burrow number 3. And then 4 through, 4, 5, 6, whatever order you want to put him in. Yeah. I think it's based on ability / accomplishments. Herbert, I know, has the 24 and 25. He only has, no playoff wins, 1 game over 500. But he threw for 4,700 yards last year.
How can you put Herbert over Lamar? I don't understand that. You would have to be going on pure ability. But even then, like, Lamar has shown the ability to be even better than what Herbert's done. So, I mean, I don't really understand that. Him putting Allen at 2, this is what I feel about the Josh Allen at 2 thing. I feel like that's what people think you're supposed to do. I think people think you're supposed to say Josh Allen's the second best quarterback. But when you really look at it, I'm not sure if he's done enough to warrant it. I think that's probably, if you asked 100 people, I think the majority of people would say Allen 2. Allen 2, Burrow 3. But I think I might be in the very, very, very small minority who would put Lamar Jackson over Josh Allen.
He obviously has all the tools and the skill set. I like him in that top 5.
Right.
I don't know why nobody's talking about Kirk Cousins. The guy just routinely puts up numbers. I know that doesn't really always translate to playoff wins, but Jalen Hurts, I like Trevor Lawrence, Aaron Rodgers, if you want to throw out last year for injury. Why not Tua in that top 5, number 2 guys? You saw
Tua is not there yet. Tua is in the Tua is behind Jalen Hurts. Hurts has done it in a small sample. Tua has done it in an even smaller sample. Tua samples about 6 games, 7 games. But it's also crazy how this guy is like, why isn't anyone talking about Kirk Cousins? Oh, yeah, and then Jalen Hurts. Like, Kirk Cousins, I mean, he's all right, but he's nowhere near the conversation of the second best quarterback in the NFL. He's more in the conversation of, like, is he the second best quarterback in the NFC? I'm not even sure about that.
Offense was last year when he was healthy, on the field, engaged, and it was all clicking. They were unstoppable.
What about Deshaun Watson?
I love how they're just naming every quarterback in the NFL. Like, imagine the conversation where you're like, is Deshaun Watson the second best quarterback in the NFL? Is Deshaun Watson the second best quarterback in his division? Is he better than Lamar Jackson? Is he better than Joe Burrow? No. The way I judge it is, like, what do I think their ceiling is? Okay? Some of these players have shown us their ceiling. We know what Patrick Mahomes' like highest end is. We know what Lamar Jackson's highest end is. We know that. We know what Aaron Rodgers is. Someone like Deshaun Watson, his highest end in his career isn't what Lamar Jackson's highest end has been. So then you have to ask yourself, does Deshaun have another gear after having a terrible year last year? Can he not only get back to where he was in Houston, but then surpass that and find another gear? I don't know about that. Has Deshaun Watson ever been as good as Lamar Jackson was his MVP year? I would say no.
Gotta see it. You haven't seen it.
2 seasons. We got to see it. We got to see it. We got to see it from Deshaun for a full year.
This conversation is going to be fun because it's going to go throughout the year. Mm-hmm. Like, we're starting it now, but at the end of the year, who are we saying is number 2?
I didn't even mention Lamar Jackson. Like, if this guy plays a full season and is super healthy, we know what the ceiling is for him. It's MVP. So he's got to be considered as well.
How about that? This guy didn't even say Lamar. He said Kirk Cousins before Lamar. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. Lamar has somehow been undervalued. he's somehow undervalued now at this point in his career. If you go look at Lamar's numbers, I mean, let's just do this right now. Let's just compare Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. All right, so here we are in a comparison with Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. So Allen's played 7 more games and has thrown the ball almost 1,000 more times than Lamar. He's got 6,000 more passing yards. He's got 37 more touchdowns. Obviously, more interceptions. Interception percentage is the same. Yards per pass attempt. Would you believe that Lamar has a higher yards per pass attempt? Now, I know you'll say, well, it's 1,000 less passes. True, but these are both pretty big sizes as far as like pass attempts. So this is pretty much consistent with like their career. Adjusted yards, Lamar's is better. Yards per completion, Lamar's better. That's got to be surprising, I would say, to a lot of the viewers. Would you have believed that Lamar has a higher yards per completion and higher yards per pass attempt? Because people think Josh Allen is like a super explosive quarterback, super downfield kind of guy. Passing yards per game, Allen obviously higher. Quarterback rating, Lamar's is better. I think that surprised some people. Let's see. They don't have rushing on here. Man, they don't have rushing. Come on, boys. Come on. What is this? Let's try and find rushing. All right, so we have rushing here. So Lamar's career rushing, he's got 727 attempts, 4,400 yards, 24 touchdowns. Allen has got 546 attempts, 3,000 yards, 38 touchdowns. So I mean, I can see it both ways. I mean, I can see these guys are similar in what they've done production-wise. But like I said, Lamar has that MVP. So it's wild that it's just assumed like Allen is number 2. And then the same guy is going to not even mention Lamar Jackson. I mean, isn't that crazy? So I honestly think you can sit here and say that Lamar might be underrated in his career now.
We don't even go there with Dak Prescott?
No. I mean, you can go there with Dak if you went there with Deshaun Watson and Kirk Cousins. I mean, I would say Dak and Kirk are in the same tier. I would say Kirk is better, but
I mean, TJ, I know that's your guy.
I know.
Look, and it's my guy. I'm going to keep it real. I can't say that he's a top 5 NFL quarterback. I'd love to say that, and of course, that was the first name I said when we're bringing this up. But I mean, if we're going to be realistic, I can't say that. But pretty much, I agree with Chris's list. Burrow, Allen, kind of like 2A, 2B, depending on you're picking your poison. I have a sneaky suspicion that Deshaun Watson might be able to regain that form that he had when he had that 3-year run where he was pretty dominant. Trevor Lawrence is not a bad pick. You're talking number 1 overall pick in the draft, so you are expecting a little bit more out of him than say like a 3rd or 4th round pick. So, like I said, I think the only thing that's for certain is who's number 1 right now, and then anything else you can convince me. You can make a convincing argument for any of Hurts, Allen, Burrow, Lamar.
I would agree with that. Like, I think it's certain that Mahomes is 1, and I think I could hear the argument at 2 for Burrow and Allen, I guess, and Lamar. Like if someone was really trying to drum up the number 2 thing. But besides that, I'm not sure there's much of an argument for 2. I think you could any of those 3. And Allen, like I've just said, Allen would be the last on my list. But I mean, I could understand it, I guess, if you're taking everything into the equation.
For that sake.
Because people are going to weigh things differently, obviously.
I'm going to throw this name at you. Ooh. Quarterback of a team with a very full bandwagon heading into 2023.
Jared Goff?
What about Jared Goff? 6.
He's just naming every quarterback in the NFL. They've had to name 12 to 15 quarterbacks.
In the NFL in passing yards last year, nearly 4,500 yards.
I saw that.
29 to 7 touchdown to interception ratio last year. I'd have to do the quick math on what Mahomes was 41-12. I think Jared Goff had one of the top touchdown interception ratios last year in the NFL.
Yeah, he did.
They're going to be an awesome offense again. We're going to see a lot of them. They're playing the Chiefs to kick off the season. What, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
No, how many weeks from tonight?
Yeah.
10, something like
So
that?
yeah. I
mean, who are they not
I'm
named?
not gonna
Jared
disagree.
Goff might be in that top 5 by the end of this year. Who knows?
I'm also creating what I call a wait and see list. My wait.
So you're just going to throw rookies on there? I mean, and now we literally are naming every single quarterback. But this is the kind of thing where I think you shouldn't be allowed to be on TV talking about the NFL if you are sitting here and you're asking if Kirk Cousins, Dak Prescott, Jared Goff, any of them are the second best quarterback in the NFL. I mean, that's wild. That is the most filler, just say they might as well have just done the Charlie Brown voice and just been murmuring nothing. You might as well have just said absolutely nothing. If you're filling time with, well, let's think about Jared Goff possibly being the second best quarterback in the NFL.
Wait and see list is Justin Fields. I'm not saying he's number 2. We're talking about quarterbacks. I want to wait and see how I view them at the end of the year.
Justin Fields said he's going to throw for 4,000 this year.
Jordan Love's also on my wait and see list.
I mean, we got Jordan Love on the wait and see list, ladies and gentlemen. We'll end the video there. My God. We got Jordan Love on the wait and see list, Justin Fields on the wait and see list. Is Trey Lance on the wait and see list? Let's see if he says Trey Lance.
Can't wait.
That's a big
Say
wait
it.
and see,
That's a
though.
wait.
Say it.
I want to see what Bryce Young looks like. He's already QB1.
It's going to look small.
I know.
Say Trey Lance.
He's on
Say
my
it.
wait and see list.
I want to see. Speaking of small, I want to see how Anthony Richardson looks, who's big.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we may honestly, I want to end the video, but I also want to see if they name every single quarterback in the NFL. Who's missing? They haven't said Desmond Ridder. They haven't said Derek Carr. They haven't said Geno. They haven't said Trey Lance. They haven't said Sam Howell. They haven't said Daniel Jones. They haven't said Baker Mayfield. They haven't said Russell Wilson. We might not get to the full list of NFL quarterbacks, but we're close.
Yeah. Yeah. We've talked this whole segment, and not once have we mentioned Russell Wilson III.
There we go. Check him off the list.
I mean, it's just it's fun that we have exercises.
We've got 20
like this,
seconds. Can we
because
do
I
it?
can't wait till you go out there and you play the game, because now we can truly analyze.
Come on.
Because there's a quarterback that is going to surprise us.
Who else we
It was
got?
Geno Smith.
Gino. Ladies and gentlemen, we may get there. All right, we have 15 seconds. Can we get Trey Lance, CJ Stroud, Derek Carr, Sam Howell, Daniel Jones?
There's going to be a quarterback that surprises, that plays well, and is going to go out there and do their thing. I cannot wait to see who that is.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show.
Damn it. We didn't get all 32. Rats. Damn. Let me know in the comments below, ladies and gentlemen, who do you think is the second best quarterback in the NFL? You can expand it if you want to the top 5. Who is your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL? In order, 1 through 5. I will be reacting, responding in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.